Today we're going to talk about what to do if you're in your car with your concealed carry and you need to unload it and secure it properly. So you're in New Jersey, for example, and this anti-carry law prevents you from carrying in so many places. It's under court litigation currently, and we're all waiting to hear the final outcome. Some of the parts of the law have been ruled unconstitutional. Other parts have been held in place until the pending the outcome of the federal court decision. So in the meantime, you have plenty of places in New Jersey, for example, I'm sure this is other states as well, where you can't carry. So you're out and about, you're in public, you're in your car and you're carrying, you get to a place where you have to secure your gun, you can't take it with you, so what do? So if you're from New Jersey, you cannot leave a loaded firearm in your vehicle if it's not under your immediate control. So if you're gonna leave it in your car and you're gonna get out of your car, you must unload it. So I'm going to show you two ways that I typically unload and load my gun when I'm in my vehicle. That's what we're going to cover today, folks. So a couple of things we want to keep in mind. Obviously, we don't want to do anything unsafe, right? Number one, that's first and foremost. So we don't want to laser, or if you imagine that, if you've ever heard that phraseology or term, if you imagine a laser coming out of the end of the barrel of the gun, when you move the gun in any direction, up, down, left, right, does that laser touch any part of you or any other person, or anything that you don't want to be destroyed if, for example, the gun were to be fired at that moment? So we want to try to avoid that, right? The second thing is you want to try to not be seen, right? So if you're out in public and you need to unload your gun, you want to try to not have other people see you, because they might call the police on you. And yes, you're legally allowed to do that. If you're, say, in New Jersey and you're securing your gun properly, you're going to store it in your vehicle, you have to unload it, right? So you're legally allowed to do it. But if someone sees you and call the police, now you have to deal with police responding, and you have to explain. It's going to delay you. There's all that goes along with having the police be involved. So you want to try to not be seen if that's possible. So if you have any passengers with you, of course, you're going to not want to laser or put their safety in jeopardy at any time while you're doing this. So a couple of things to keep in mind. So what I like to do is, when I'm parked and I'm ready to secure my gun, the first thing I do is, of course, now my holster, depending on how your holster is, this might be a little bit different for you, but I like to remove the magazine first. Right now you're only dealing with one round in the chamber. If you're a person that carries with a round in the chamber, which I am, and I recommend that everyone carry with a round in the chamber. I've done videos on this. So you take the magazine out while the gun's still in the holster. It might be a little difficult for some people depending on your body type, your car size, and your holster, but that's what I like to do. Take that magazine out first, and then I'm just dealing with the round in the chamber. So let's see one way to do this. So you see here, obviously it's not typically in this position. It's usually farther back when I drive. I have it here to show you. I don't usually have it exposed. Again, I have it exposed to show you in the video. This is a hidden hybrid holster. It's a very good holster. I've done a video review on these holsters. I'll put a link to it if you want to check it out, but it's basically Kydex molded to the size of your gun and shape of your gun, model number. This is my SIG P365X, so this Kydex is molded for this gun. The other side of the holster is suede. It goes against your body, so the whole reason is, hybrid holster. It's a hybrid of Kydex and leather, so you got the comfort of the leather on one side and the Kydex support and retention of the Kydex molded to your gun, right? So for this video, I am using dummy rounds, so we're not using live ammunition, just so everyone knows. So the first thing I would do is, again, hit that mag release. Now my magazine comes out. You can obviously see these are dummy rounds in here. Still have one in the chamber, right? So I'm going to set that aside. Now I have to remove my gun from the holster, and again, we are practicing the firearm safety rules. So what we're doing is, finger is off the trigger, and we're going to get that good grip. We're going to pull the gun out. You see my finger just stays along the frame of the gun. It does not go near the trigger. So now, again, thinking about that laser, I'm in a car, it's kind of tight. I'm just going to point the gun in a safe direction, towards the floorboards, right, for now. Now you see I have my legs here. I could do it over here. Now I'm holding the camera with one hand, so it's a little hard to demonstrate. I'm going to put it down in a second and show you. Or you could put it in between your legs, you know, do one of these, kind of manipulate it. But obviously you see you have the chance of lasering your feet or foot, right? So you could just leave it in this area here. I'm pointing it down or towards the engine compartment area, right? So always want to keep it in a safe direction. So at this point, folks, I can rack the slide, right? And racking the slide, assuming that it's a fully functioning firearm, because if there's a malfunction with any of the parts there that eject the round, it won't, I can rack the slide all day and it's going to stay in there. So I don't want to rely on that, right? We're talking about safety here. So I would recommend you lock the slide to the rear. So keeping it pointed in a safe direction, we lock it to the rear. You see the round is already kind of fell out there. It's still in there. Now I can cant the gun. I can shake it. It just fell out of the magazine well. But the main reason I like to lock the slide to the rear, I can visually, right, and physically inspect that chamber. Put my finger in there if it's a low light situation. Say, you know what, let me feel. Is there a round in there? No, there isn't. I can feel the hole. And I can see, cant the gun any way you need to. If you need to use a flashlight, you can certainly shine a flashlight in there. No magazine, the gun's empty. So now I just ease that slide forward. It goes back in the holster, right? Put it back in the holster. Now I obviously pick up that round, right, which in this case is a dummy round. So now I have my ammo, right, my magazine and my loose round. I can either lock these in the glove box to keep them separate. For me, I have a portable safe, which I would highly recommend you get. We're going to show you that in a minute. It's a Hornady tri-point safe. You can get it on Amazon. I'll put links to all this stuff. I would recommend you get at least one. If you have 2 cars, get one for each car. You could get one for your house too. I have bigger safes for my home, but if you only have 1 or 2 guns, a portable safe like that might work. One of the other things you can do is, if you're in an area where there aren't a lot of people, you can open your door, your driver's door. You can stand between your door and your car, and you can point your gun in a safe direction. And when you lock that slide to the rear, maybe you have it over the floorboard of your vehicle. That way that round goes on the floor rather than on the ground, maybe roll into your vehicle. So you can stand between your car door and your vehicle if there aren't a lot of people around, right? If you're in a busy shopping area or a parking lot, you're probably not going to want to stand outside with your gun in plain view to unload or load it, because people are going to see, and someone's going to call the police and say there's a guy with a gun and I don't know what he's doing, and then you're going to get 10 police cars there, and you know, it's not going to be a fun situation. So I would recommend you do it in your car if you can. You know, if you have to step outside, you step outside. So this is where I keep my safe. You can see that it's secured to this ring here. Now you see it's not going to fit in the holster in there, so I can just put the empty gun in there, close it up. Now for loading, it's going to be the same, really. So I would recommend you put the gun back in the holster if you have to take it out for your safe. The holster's back on me. The gun's back in the holster. The first thing I do is I put the magazine back in the gun, still in the holster, right? The magazine is in the gun. Now I have to load around in the chamber, right? So what I do is I take it out again. Finger is nowhere near the trigger. So now it's pointing in a safe direction. I have to rack the slide. Now there's a round in the chamber. The next thing I do is I put it back in the holster, right? Now I have to top off the magazine. So I remove the magazine, hit that mag release. Now I have my magazine here. I just have to top it off with my extra round, which I did. And now I can put that back in my gun. So now after I top off the mag and reinsert that mag into the gun, now I have a fully loaded gun back on my person and I'm ready to go. So that's what I usually do, folks. Again, it's going to vary a little bit based on your body size, your holster, your gun, and of course your car, your vehicle. You might have a tighter vehicle, might be small. You might actually have to get out of your car And in that case, I would recommend you stand in between your door and your vehicle, and you try to do the unloading in an area where the round's either going to fall on your seat or your floor, so you're not dealing with a round falling on the ground, rolling around outside. Because I can totally understand if you don't want your round in the chamber to fall out and go on the ground and roll all over the place, then you have to find it. So that's what I would recommend, folks. This is how I typically do it. Most of the time I'm loading and unloading inside my vehicle, and it kind of goes against everything you might have been taught. But as long as you keep that gun in a safe direction, you keep your finger off the trigger, and you practice a good safe technique, you should be fine. So let me know in the comments if you do anything differently, or what your technique is. Just curious to know. So have a safe like the Hornady Tri-Point safe available to lock up. You can cable it to the seat frame or a solid part of your vehicle. I keep mine in the back because it's easier for me. I have kids, and I usually have other people in the car, so I don't have a lot of space under my seat, so it would kind of have to be on the back floor, and it would be in the way. So the disadvantage of having it in the back of my vehicle is obviously I have to stand out there, and I have to put the gun in the safe, take the gun out. I have to look around, make sure nobody's coming up to me. So it's a little bit more challenging when it's out there. If it's inside your compartment, you can sit in your car all day with it locked and take your time. So that's the advantage of having the safe in your vehicle, in your passenger compartment. So for me, again, I have it in the back. It just works for me. I do also, as a note, I have an Apple AirTag hidden in the safe. Now, obviously someone can search through it and find it, but I'm hoping that if someone steals it, I can relatively quickly locate where they are and point the law enforcement, the police, in their direction. So I'd have a location of where it is. Just a little tip if you have a portable safe like that. If you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with anyone you think will benefit from it. Also consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, we appreciate your support of the channel. And like always, folks, thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe.